Alright, what's going on? Been a minute since I made a little video. I sort of feel like I've been out of the groove a little bit, but just been working like on other stuff like loops, prioritizing like more music. Usually when I get started again, I just get momentum. So yeah, I'll try and record a little bit more. I just dropped this MIDI kit. It's up on my Patreon now. So that's available for all the paid subscribers. It comes with 15 chord progressions, melody type MIDIs, and then I've got a drum one, and there's 15 sort of drum, rhythm, percussions, whatever. So I thought today I'm just going to pull some stuff in and show you kind of like how easy it is to use and what to expect in it. And I also got this plugin the other day. Shapeshifter. So I'm going to use this because it's got a really nice sound. It's like it's a compressor, but it's very easy to use. Like, it's not a super technical one. It's more of like a creative style. And it has a very like tape sound to it. And that's what I really love, sort of tape distortion. So yeah, I'm going to use that. Alright, I'm going to use this one. Maybe I'll freeze and flatten this. Duplicate. I'm gonna try and make this a little bit of a longer video. Just experimenting with the videos at the moment. It's my new sort of mentality on it. So we'll see. Cause like a fair few people asking for like longer videos, and I make sort of like longer videos and they sort of just get the same amount of views, but it's a lot of extra sort of editing and a lot of time and whatever. So what am I saying? Just gonna drink some peppermint tea. So yeah, I'm kind of gonna make a bit more of a longer video, more of like a kind of live stream, like less edited, I guess, in a way, and see if people like that more, or yeah, whatever. Because I feel like the main problem with output for me is like having to edit them, and then when I edit them, I just like get this perfectionist mindset. I'm like, I could make this even better, I could make it better, and I end up spending like as much time, if not more, editing the video than I do making music. And at the end of the day, I want to be a music producer. And yeah, it's kind of like taking away from the music. I love making these videos. But yeah, when it gets to a certain point, it's sort of like makes you reconsider, like, why did I start doing this, you know? Don't actually love that. So obviously the attack and release, you can sort of decide how you want the transients to be, whether you want it to be like really clicky, plucky, sort of sounding, or you can smooth them out and have it, just like soften it. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what I'm going for. I'm just tweaking it until I find something nice. think I like type B. There's two different types of distortion. It's got kind of like more of a like buzzy sound to it. I'll probably tell you. This user manual is really cool as well. It's like hand drawn. Here we go. Drive type A is more subtle and warm. Can be used as light saturation at lower levels and a grittier guitar pedal like distortion at higher levels. Type B, harsher, more hard clipping version of the A model. So they're pretty similar, but one's just like heavier. And then the asymmetry controls the asymmetry of the drive being applied to the signal, allowing for harsher, grittier textures by boosting even order harmonics. So I guess asymmetry in a way is kind of like the shape of it. I was hoping to look at a graph on this, but I don't know, don't quote me on that. Yeah, pretty cool user manual. Just looking to create some call and response here. So I'm thinking like maybe this section here, oh, you can't really see that well. This section here, maybe like some bell. I'll do it on this channel. shapeshifter on the whole thing. And the EQ too. Now I feel like these two are kind of cluttered, so I don't EQ a lot, but I'm going to do some EQ because I like how these sound and I just kind of want to keep them. See, if you have like sounds that fit together, you don't really need to EQ that much. And that's a good general rule for producing, because it saves time with the mixing of things. But I don't know, I like what we've got, so we're just gonna go with it. You can see like this main melody that we use the MIDI for. It's like right across the spectrum, so it's using a lot of the frequency. It's using a lot of frequencies is what I mean to say. So then if we put this EQ on here and have a look at, so these, we kind of want to free up this space here if we can, around 1 to 2, 3K. But like, look at all this information, it runs the whole way across. So what I like to do is go into here and play it back and pick like a frequency that we like. Even just like 1K. If we boost this by even just 2 dB, maybe 4. Now, oops. And we'll boost this one to like 4K. And then maybe we'll just take a little bit out of this. Just dip it down at like here. Just 2 dB. Sounds a little bit like cleaner. Like obviously this main one's still taking up a lot of the frequency, like whole spectrum type thing. But this one just fits in there a little bit nicer. You can just hear it. It's a bit more audible. That's all the EQ I'm going to do anyway, because I like how that is. This does sound a little bit thinner now. So maybe we'll just open up this Q a bit. But also we did take out the bottom end. body. So I can run with it. What have I done? Yeah. Let's just solo these. Alright, so I like that, but I don't love it. But we're gonna fix that. Let's slice. Bro, what? Oh. case that doesn't work, we can just go and create another one. Do something similar, but so sometimes you can spend a lot of time on something and it doesn't necessarily mean it makes it sound good. Then I just whipped this one out and pretty much instantly just made it effortlessly. I'm going to deactivate that because I don't know if I like it. We'll put all these clips up here. This is a Joey one. difference does that make? It's crazy. That's the one. That's the one. take. Oops. Where I got my arrangement. And we do this like surgical thing. Mute all this. Probably mute that as well. So this will come. So there we go. That's how you make a Joey beat using this MIDI. Yeah. Thank you for watching. I'll hang on. Yeah. Go check out my Patreon if you want to cop this project file, or if you want to cop the MIDI kit. It's all included in the membership, the paid membership. Yeah, thanks heaps for your support, and I'll see you in the next video. See you then.